Hey everybody, I'm here with Kim Tolbert, the interim city manager for the city of Dallas. How you doing today, Kim?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you taking the time out today. I just want to ask you a few questions. What are you excited about for the future of the city of Dallas?
I'm excited because Dallas is a city that can do whatever it wants to do. We have paved the way. We are leading in the country when it comes to innovation, and people are coming to Dallas as quickly as they can, and we want people to know that Dallas is open for business.
Dallas is open for business, folks. You heard it. What are some things that you are excited about for the next generation of leaders in Dallas? Because we have a lot of young people moving here.
Well, I think the good thing about Dallas is that there's something for everyone. We want to continue to be a city where people can come and play hard, live, work, and thrive. And so I think that for our future generation, it's what you want. You want to be in a city that is leading in innovation and a city that you can come in and you're accepted. It's an inclusive city and it's a welcoming city. That's what makes Dallas exciting.
As a Dallas transplant, who's also a young Dallas transplant, I feel everything you said a lot. What is some advice you would give to the 20-year-old version of yourself?
Stick with it. Don't stop. Because when you know that God has given you a purpose, you have to continue to work towards fulfilling that purpose. And so for me, as that 20-year-old, it's live out your dreams every single day, live them on purpose, and don't apologize for being who you are.
Kim, we good? Kim, you are a black woman in a position of power in one of the largest cities in the country. Mm-hmm. That means a lot. You are a lot of women's role models, and a lot of people, you're an example of excellence for black women around the country and even the world. What is some advice you would give to young black women who look up to you or wish to be where you are one day?
Well, thank you for that. I actually stand on the shoulders of many, and many who were bold and courageous who paved the way for me. And so what I would tell other young women is know who you are and that you are enough. Don't let anybody tell you that you got to be somebody different between the workplace, the home. Be who you are every single day. Live life on purpose and make sure before you do anything, you have your faith rooted and have that North Star and always know what your why is. And that'll keep you going each and every day. Know your why, perfect your why, and live out your dreams.
Know your why. Kim, I have one more question for you. Are there any organizations or projects that you're passionate about in the city that maybe don't get enough exposure or more people should know about?
Well, what I can tell you is that I've spent the last 4 years in just digging deep into the problems around our unsheltered residents. And what we've learned is that not everybody has the same story. So we have spent more time out in our streets and really working to understand the needs that our unsheltered residents have. They're just like you and me. Maybe one mistake, one thing led to another, and they ended up in that situation. But any of us could be in that situation. So I'm proud of the work and the investment that the city has made in providing housing opportunities for our unsheltered. And I'm proud that we're doing it in a collaborative way where our entire community, our business community is involved, our philanthropic community is involved. We're working directly with our county, and it's really given us this collaborative approach, something that we've never done before, and we're seeing great results.
Kim, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to the JBJ Management Podcast. I'm Willis Johnson, and you are?
I'm Samantha Gordon.
And I'm Camron Powell. Let's get started. Oh, so it's on me. You both looked at me as if I'm supposed to continue
You
this.
started every time. Let's go.
All right, well, hey, let's get into it. You interviewed Kim, right? Yeah, I interviewed Kim Tolbert recently, and we talked about some things that she's excited about for Dallas. And
Who is that?
Oh, yeah, she's the city manager of Dallas. Technically, is it interim still?
Yeah.
Interim city manager of Dallas. I'm bad with titles. I'm bad with names. But
Well, you should remember her name.
I got her name, but I messed up the title this time.
Pretty important.
I think she's the first. Somebody Google it. I think she's the first African American female
woman
City manager.
of Dallas.
of Dallas. I think she's the first.
Well, in a recent
I don't
interview
know anybody else.
with me, actually, she stated that Dallas is a city that can do what it wants to and that we are leading the nation in innovation. What things come to mind when you think of innovation in Dallas and in Texas in general?
Well, you're from Austin, Samantha. What do you see innovative in Dallas that Austin doesn't? Something got you out of Austin that got you to Dallas.
This job. Mine's an easy
Great
answer.
answer.
I love my job. I'll plug my job all day long. That's what got me out of Austin. But really, I don't know if it's necessarily innovative, but the sports here in Dallas are just different. Austin, we just got a soccer team in Austin. That was the big thing. But here you have Dallas FC, you have the Mavericks, you have the Stars, you have the Dallas Cowboys, the Rangers, now the Wings, now Trinity FC.
Speaking of that too, I think the Mavericks have the highest NBA tickets in the NBA. I think they have the best atmosphere for a game. Could totally be wrong about that, but I did hear it somewhere.
I've never been to a Mavs game, so
What? I've only been to one.
Really?
I couldn't. Yeah, never been to a Mavs game. I went to my first NBA game maybe like a year and a half ago, and it was San Antonio Spurs. And I don't know, never been to a Mavs game. Been to a Stars game. Stars games are so much fun.
Never been to a Stars game.
Those are a lot of fun. I really enjoy those. Never been to a Cowboys game. Never been to an NFL game. Period.
But yet you bring up sports.
I bring up sports, so been to a couple of Rangers games. Those have been a blast. Love those. And then they won the World Series, so how could you not enjoy going?
I think Dallas, when people globally think about Dallas, likely the first thing they think about are the Cowboys. I know there's a generational thing that exists, but still they're just known. If you think about coming to Dallas, what is it that makes you want to come to Dallas? What is it in
I don't know.
Well, so let me give the Chamber of Commerce speech.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. I mean, I think we have two good airports.
Great.
Transportation is a big deal for anywhere that you can get in and out. And so you have two relatively top quality airports.
Mm-hmm.
Love Field is probably the number one mid-size airport in the country. DFW is probably the number 2, 3, or 4 airport in the world. And because you're here,
Yeah.
you don't think about it. I mean, it's just DFW, it's just Love Field. No, it's not. And they're quality airports. I think that's one. I do think we have a lot of sports. I remember when the Stars came here.
From Minnesota.
Exactly. And it was considered a cold weather sport. And no one thought that the Stars would make it here. And they struggled the first 2 or 3 years. And that must have been maybe 1995. And then they won it. They've never looked back. And it is, by the way, Stars fans are a little different than any other hockey fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say hockey in general is a
in
different
general.
Yeah,
breed.
that's a different thing. But I also think that Dallas is not landlocked. Dallas-Fort Worth is the fastest growing area in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's predicted in the next 10, 12, 15 years, 12 million people will be here. I'm concerned about how we're going to get around.
The traffic already sucks.
Oh, it's terrible.
And every major city in Texas, traffic is horrible.
Houston is the worst. Austin is pretty bad on game day.
Austin's bad in general because they're just not ready for the growth.
Yeah, it's a small town with a big.
And at least I feel like in Dallas, you have highways that have multiple lane, like at least 3, 4, 5, 6 lane highways. Austin has 3-lane highways all across the board. Like it really, it's just so hard to. It's terrible getting around. And
What
they
about
really-
San Antonio?
That's the forgotten city.
Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, it's so funny you say that.
And it,
Remember the
other than
Alamo, but
Houston,
Forgotten
it's
City.
the second
Okay.
largest city in Texas.
Traffic
By
there
area,
is pretty
right?
bad too.
Yeah. I really think the forgotten city is Fort Worth.
Fort Worth or El Paso.
It's up. It's getting up there though now. So I saw something that said Fort Worth is going to be the next Austin.
Ross Perot said in 2005, he jokes with me about this. You can't say this when I'm in Dallas. I only said that in Fort Worth. He said in 2005 that Fort Worth would be the largest city in the Metroplex by 2030. He said that 20 years ago. Now, if you look at the census and who's growing the fastest, could be right.
You think it'll outgrow Dallas?
Absolutely.
Really?
In your lifetime.
Texas as a whole is projected to be the largest metropolitan area, or the Texas Triangle, what they call it, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and Austin, is set to be the biggest metro area. What do they call it? Gosh, I can't think of the name. But in the country, bigger than Chicago, probably as big, if not bigger than New York, especially with things we have coming down the pipeline for transportation. It would be insane because it already contains 3 of the top 15 biggest cities in the country, 2 of them being in the top, 10 or 6? And so,
can somebody Google who are the top 10?
It's.
I know Houston is number 4.
San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas are all in top 10, along with Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta, New York,
Chicago, LA.
I don't think Atlanta's in there.
LA. Atlanta's there. Atlanta is after Dallas.
I don't think so.
I think
I
last
looked it
time
up.
I checked, Dallas was 9.
I looked it up.
Or Fort Worth was 9.
It's before San Antonio.
It was 9 or
Atlanta's
11.
before San Antonio.
I don't think so.
And after Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I mean, Atlanta's not that big.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. There's smarter people in this room.
There's also there's a differentiation between by landmass, by surface area or square miles, and population.
Well, what I remember was the mayor saying to me specifically when we were doing the census, Willis, I want you guys to get it done for us. We need to get past San Diego. And we didn't. We were close.
Right.
So I think San Diego is 8th.
We're 9th.
Dallas is 9th.
Fort Worth is 11th, I think.
Who's 10?
Austin.
Right. But where is Atlanta?
On this list, very low. 38th.
They're not that big.
Yeah.
John's eating his words over
They have
there.
a big airport.
Number 1 airport in the world, but small population.
Right.
And Houston,
It's 4th.
Houston's before Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Houston's the biggest city in
Definitely.
Texas.
Houston is humongous.
Wow.
It's,
John, what list were you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah, apparently, I think I was looking at population,
No.
which I don't.
Population is, Atlanta's not there.
Nah.
Yeah,
that
nah,
ain't
I
ain't
think
so
when
big.
you go through these cities, and Kim Tolbert probably would challenge me on this, but when you go through these cities, there are not very many cities in America that have 1 million plus.
Mhm.
Atlanta's not one of them. San Francisco is not one of them. Miami is not one of them. Atlanta's not one of them. They don't have 1 million people. We hear about them and we think, oh my goodness, Miami doesn't have 500,000 people.
Miami ain't not that big. Yeah.
And I believe San Francisco may 800,000. May.
Yeah.
But Fort Worth, the reason
It's almost like you know what you're talking about.
Almost like you read that
Yeah.
right before you walked in.
The most that I've
knew.
seen.
we were going there. I didn't know we were going there.
But as they were saying, Gen Z, DFW is the place where most Gen Z people are moving to, like the
Why?
highest population of.
But why? What is
Well,
it?
I think it's because of the notion that it is an affordable place to live, which is not so true as it was a few years ago, because I don't have the list on me right now, but I think like the median household, and for a 2-parent, 2-child household, to live comfortably, you need to bring in like $100,000 to $200,000 a year to be comfortable.
I had somebody in this room who got married told me, I'm gonna need a raise to
No, it's bad.
Make sure we can afford one of these houses around here. That's somebody in this room that got married. They told me.
In the last
Well, that
4
narrows it
years,
down,
the
doesn't
rings
it? All right. Everyone show your rings, okay?
in the last 4 years, I think the median household or house cost in the U.S. went from $280,000 to like $450,000.
Well, I know it's around 380, 400 in Dallas.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, salaries don't line up with that kind of cost for a
They
house.
do not. Inflation and salary increase, there's a whole debate about this. Over the past 20, 30 years, inflation went like this and salaries went like this.
Well, and I think it's even worse for those who live south of Main Street
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas, because the average salary is probably, I don't
30.
know. I think it's north of 30, but it's south of 60.
Yeah.
And so how can you afford, even if you get married,
Yeah. You're making
how can you afford a
$80,000.
$400,000 home?
on an $80,000 income.
But Dallas is not landlocked. We have an area between 635 on the east, Loop 12 on the west, Main Street on the north, and Interstate 20 on the south.
Undeveloped.
700,000 people. You can put Atlanta and Boston in it. That's how big it is.
Just on the south side of the city.
And Kim Tolbert is now the interim city manager of all of that and has to lead, guide, and direct our city to the next level.
She also, in the interview, spoke on the major population growth in DFW, which we just covered. Last year, DFW added 418 people per day, totaling 153,000 people that moved to DFW in 23.
How many of them moved to Dallas? Of the 418, I think it's less than 20
No way.
per day.
That's crazy.
They're not coming to Dallas. They're coming to Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah,
mean Dallas
that's it.
proper. Yeah.
right.
No,
So
Plano, Frisco, all that. Yeah.
all of the O's, but it's Dallas. When you're in Minnesota, and if you're living in Plano, you don't tell them Plano.
No, you say live in
Oh,
Dallas.
yeah, I'm in Dallas. Well, stop saying that until you move to Dallas, because we need the tax revenue. Sorry.
Well, as someone who's been in Dallas for 20 plus years, boss, how do you feel about the changes? Are you excited? Are you worried?
Love it.
What are some of the differences you see then to now in the city?
It's not as segregated as it was. You don't know where the hood
Right.
is anymore. It's changed. When I came, it was Oak Cliff, West Dallas, South Dallas. Not necessarily now.
Mhm.
Some people see that as gentrification. Others see it as progress. And that's the one thing that has changed, though. I also think that a lot of stuff left. You know, the Cowboys were at the Cotton Bowl. Gone. 635 used to be the ring around Dallas. And there was nothing on the other side of it. Now you got all of the O's, Plano, Frisco, any other O you want to, including Oklahoma, all of those O's on the outside of
pretty
635.
And that's the big
Pretty
thing
north
about
now.
Texas in general. Texas is a lot of people don't like this about the state. It's a very car-focused state, and the way that we build here is out, not up. Most other cities, they keep their cities contained as far as city limits and city diameter because they build up. Texas, there's land out there. We're going to go build it. And every 10 years, there's another loop. They just built another loop around Houston. There's 3 loops around Houston now, and they're
And we're working on
wide.
one called Loop 9
Mm.
that will encompass 635.
yeah.
635 is already humongous.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever driven all the way around 635?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. I was like, no.
Because they're always fixing it.
Yeah.
You know, Kim, Paul Quinn is a long way from Minnesota. What made you come all the way down?
It was an accident. I'm just kidding. No, but it definitely wasn't planned. Like most people, Paul Quinn is a very small school that I knew nothing about. And so it was a connection that I had that put Paul Quinn on my radar, and I didn't have any other college I was going to. The one I was going to, I wasn't getting any financial support at, and it was going to cost me a lot of money. And I had an uncle kind of point me in the direction of Paul Quinn, and I never looked back. Then I ended up here
And never looked back.
and
again.
never looked back. No.
And Sam,
think
you
if
never
you-
looked back after moving from Austin.
Yeah, I
There's
needed.
plenty. I mean, the economy in Austin is booming.
I needed
there
out
was
of Austin,
there was
though.
jobs there as well, and
The-
even where you graduated from.
Mine was different. My story was different, though. I was born and raised Austin, Texas, and I needed something different. My whole family's there, and they work and live in Austin, and I needed a change. I needed to do something for myself, and I had a lot of friends here in Dallas, and so that kind of drew me out this way looking, and then found an amazing job, amazing coworkers, and never looked back.
After
I
a
can
million
turn on the
questions.
charm. Don't worry, I can turn on the charm after a million
After
questions.
a million questions, apparently,
And I
according to
still
boss.
ask a bunch of questions today.
Yes.
Channel 5 stated that Dallas leads all metro areas in population growth. 1.8 million people here. You were just talking about the cities that have less than 1 million people. That is insane. 2 million people? I don't like people like that. That's why I don't live in New York.
Well, but I think that goes back to your point of cities that build up and keep everything contained, and Texas doesn't do that. They spread out, which is why 2 million people, however many million
Which is
people
also
want to move here, because there is more. And you said that, and I'm like, yeah, of course people are moving outwards. It's Texas, and that's my answer for it. Is people like their space. They like to move away from the city. They want they want that
American
that
dream.
line of, all right, I can go and work in the city, but then I can drive out of the city. I can go home and kind of just chill and have that break. I mean, is that you guys moved to Terrell?
Which, well, yeah, and I've driven from Terrell to work. It's 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I chose to live outside, not bad. You have to come at a certain time of day, though.
Right.
Early.
And you don't get to come back into the city. That's also the hard part.
No. But if you're in San Francisco and you live in Manteca,
Good luck.
which is a 3-hour drive.
Oh, thank you for that. I was
From
wondering
San
where
Francisco.
that was. Me either.
Well, but San Francisco has such congestion. There's such a
On a
it's
commute on that
dense
Bay
area.
Bridge is insane, man.
Well, that's the other thing I found out about San Francisco. I always knew I knew about the Golden Gate Bridge. I didn't know they had 6 bridges.
Yeah.
That's something new to me. You think about the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's the long way.
Well, and one day I was there. Because we were cutting a deal with somebody, and I said, oh, "Look at all those bridges." He said, well, they all go the same as the Golden Gate. I said, so I thought we were on Golden Gate. No, we weren't. We were on the Bay Bridge.
That's a long one too.
But no, Dallas doesn't have gasoline prices like California.
That's
Thank
all.
goodness.
That's political. That's due to the taxes they put on everything. Their gas tax is insane.
You have to pay $6 to $8 a gallon to be in California.
I'm good.
And
I'll stay here.
and square footage on a home in California, if you have an 800, let's just say you have an 1,800 square foot home,
About $2 million.
easily.
Yeah.
Easily. 1,800 square feet.
But almost everyone makes $150,000.
Well, they got to.
Yeah. So there's
But it's all relative
It's all-
because it's eaten up in gasoline prices and your house note.
and your taxes.
So thus, I think Dallas Fort Worth, great place to be.
That's why they're
You
all
spoke
coming
about
here.
this earlier about Kim being, we think, the first black woman city manager of the city
think
of
so.
Dallas. And she spoke about being a black woman in a position to make change in the city. She gives advice to other women to be who you are and know your why. So I'm asking both of you, what is your why?
Is that me and Lauren? Lauren
No, it
gets
was
the mic
everybody
on
at this
this one.
table.
I don't know my why yet, and I think I'm able to admit that. I think I'm still figuring it all out. I know that I have a purpose, and I know that I keep pushing and wanting to achieve different goals, and I don't know. I really don't. That's a hard question. And I applaud Kim for knowing her why and knowing what she wants to do and the impact she wants to leave on the city and other young women. And I think that's amazing. I can't be the only one.
Boss,
so
what would
I'm
you say your
silent
why
over-
is?
Silent over here.
My why has probably changed over the years, and it comes with experience. My first why was I just needed to get out of East Texas. That's why I'm
Good old
in
gray
Dallas.
water.
You had either 2 locations, Dallas or California, so that's why I got to Dallas. I never got to California. My second why became as I gained popularity on the radio. But it was at a time when the voice of the radio guy meant something. And so I couldn't be as goofy as I wanted to be. I had to have a purpose because the old schoolers would put you in the check. Man, you wasting good airtime talking about that old crazy stuff. We need to be talking about registering to vote. We need to find out what the churches is doing. What is our economy? That was ingrained upon me at 22, 23, 24 years old by veterans like Mr. Bill Blair, who died at 96, or S.M. Wright, there's a freeway named after him, or Mr. Hudson Griffin, who had Griffin Cleaners. I would sit with them every Friday, and they would talk about the history of Dallas and where it had come from. And so I was just an old man in a young man's body, and so it just stuck. And over the period of time, I've worked on what I call I've had 3 probably mentoring groups, and I'm working on this last group now. I'm working on this last group. In due time, we'll see what happens. That's my why, is to share the knowledge that I have and experiences, because all of them have been good. Some of them self-inflicted. Let's be clear about that. Stupidity kicks in.
The greatest teacher.
Oh my goodness! And you say, why did I do that?
Because you had to learn.
I try not to learn that way. But that's my why. Well, that's it for the JBJ Management Podcast. We'll see you next week.